You know what I missed? Books.
Yeah, it's fun reading the book.
Books are great. The books just sit there and wait for you to read them. You can't miss a book. You know what I mean? Like a movie can start and then you miss some of it. Book, you can't miss it. It just sits there and waits.
Yeah, also, like, if we really get into what film is, pictures being moved at rapid...
It's an illusion, Chad.
It's kind of the devil's work.
It's a lie.
It's kind of a lie. Those people on the screen, they're not real.
Well, the words in a book are just symbols that turn into sounds
that we've
in your
assigned
head.
meaning to. Holy shit.
We assign meaning to. Everything's nothing, guys.
Fuck. He's right. Fucking shit, he's right.
I was like, we're going to start this episode pretty positive and immediately, nihilism, nothing matters.
No. I think this is not nihilism. Well, I mean, it is, but...
I'm a little existential. I watched The Green Knight last night, and now I'm just thinking about the world.
Was it good?
Oh, it was so good, guys. It was so fucking good.
I'm so excited to watch it.
It's very moody. It's very slow. Dev Patel is incredibly sexy.
Of course, yeah. He's achieved, I think, pinnacle sexiness at this point.
Not in Chappie? That didn't do it for you?
Let me look at him in Chappie. I don't remember what he looked like in Chappie.
I mean, he didn't. I wouldn't kick him out of bed in Chappie.
I wouldn't kick Chappie out of bed, I'll tell you that.
Hell no. I mean, he looked like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul?
Honestly, he kind of looked like me.
Paul, you kind of look like him now because you have the long hair now.
It's funny. I saw a picture of him as the Green Knight.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, I have the same hair and the facial hair. Everything's the same. I'm not as handsome as Dev Patel, though.
You are. Certainly
You're
as handsome as Dev Patel.
I don't know about that, guys. He's in movies.
You could be on Skins.
Was he in Skins?
Was he in the first season of Skins?
I don't know. I don't know his whole career.
Dev Patel, come on our podcast and prove that you're just as sexy as Paul.
The only way that he was on Skins. The only way to be sexier than me is to come online, get on the internet, and meet me on the internet and talk to me about how sexy you are.
You're going to want to get some internet because that'll take you to our podcast. And then you can find out if you're as sexy as our friend Paul.
Yeah, we're really the front page of the internet, honestly.
Us and Reddit.
Kevin, when you watch The Green Knight, because I haven't seen it yet, do they cover the part of the lore where Morgan Le Fay gives the Green Knight a green power candle and it makes him stronger, but once it burns out, he'll no longer be? Also, I don't know if this really bad, I'm trying to reference the Green Ranger storyline from Power Rangers is playing at all. And clearly it didn't.
Was the Green Ranger based on the Green Knight?
I mean, I kind of always assumed.
Oh, so this
but
was
maybe just a color they didn't have.
Kevin is hurt.
This was all just a thing about Power Rangers. I see now.
Kevin is hurt right now.
I was like, I don't know that part of the
lore,
poem, but there are many different versions of that poem. No, Chad was just having a laugh,
mate.
Well, I mean, they're both great myths, Kevin.
So what's the green candle?
The green candle, which is kind of a confusing metaphor, was a ticking clock in the story.
Okay.
And that, like, Tommy was the Green Ranger. He originally was, like, championed by Rita, but Rita's bad and manipulating him. And I believe the green candle was, like, a countdown clock of, like, when this candle runs out, Tommy's powers will be mine forever. Yep. But also, like...
That's exactly what it says in the synopsis on Wikipedia. You just fucking words for worded that.
Nice. Well, Tommy's... That's confusing because, like, when the candle's gone, makes you think the power's gone, not that it's been, built up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Physics should be opposite. She should be building a wax candle.
Yeah, it should be like a reverse candle that's going up.
Yeah.
But that'd be that'd be like just a green boner or whatever. Which is the true power.
The green boner. Kevin, I'm glad you liked it because I do want to see it. Did you watch the like the online not premiere but like the viewing they did?
Yeah, me and my friends all chipped in. I don't know if this is illegal, so I'm not going to say any of my friends' name.
Boy.
We all chipped in. We filled up my friend Steve's living room, and we watched it together.
I don't think that's illegal. I think A24 would be happy about that.
All right, I just don't want to do anything illegal.
They seem cool. I don't think A24 would call the cops.
Yeah,
I hope not, because we had a lot of fun.
Oh, you had fun too? Did you make popcorn? Did you put butter on it?
We got pizza and we ate a lot of movie snacks and Doritos. There are Junior Mints left over.
Damn, dude.
Oh, Junior Mints.
Have you ever had a Junior Mint and like Junior Mints in one hand and whiskey in the other? It's incredible.
No.
Oh my god.
But that makes sense. A minty whiskey, yes.
Yeah, it's like a mint julep with a little bit of chocolate.
Yeah.
It's great.
Do you put the Junior Mints in the whiskey?
No, you just eat a Junior Mint. You live in that experience for a little while. Then you take a sip of the whiskey, and it's like, oh,
wash away the one experience with another experience.
A new experience blossoming into the previous experience.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it's great.
I had a highball last night with Campari in it.
Ooh, Paul, you make a good highball.
Oh, thank you.
You have been highball crazy recently.
I love highball. It's such a good drink. It's so simple. You're drinking water. It's good for you. It's a good drink for you.
I don't know if that's completely true.
You are. It's got water in it. It's good for you. It's healthy for you.
Oh, sure. Okay, yeah.
It's just, water that we, taught it to lighten up a little.
Yeah, we made fun water.
Yeah.
It's just water that makes your brain not think well as good for a while.
Yeah, it makes your brain bleed a little bit.
I'm trying to think what Campari tastes like.
It's like orangey, cinnamony, clovey, got that kind of vibe going on. So the lemon and the Campari are giving you this double whammy of citrus attack. It's cool. It was real cool. It was good. Oh, it was so good. Anyways, but the mint julep via Junior Mint is incredible.
The Mint Junior.
The Mint... Oh, dude. Mint.
Should we talk about this fucking Buck Wild book?
I loved this book. I loved it. I'm going to say it.
Before we talk about this Buck Wild book and how much we loved it, and it was really good, we should talk about our Buck Wild selves. Hi, I'm Kevin.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Kevin, thank you for doing this. Hi, I'm Chad.
And I'm Paul.
We are cool friends who read children's books and review them. And today we're talking about The Haunted School. Just ignore how this sounds totally different. This is Kevin in the present, and we did forget to say the book that we were talking about in the audio. So don't worry about that. Okay.
The best book ever in this series.
I'm gonna put it. I mean, let's not bury. We're burying. Well, we're not burying the lead. We're putting the lead out there. This is the best book in the series. Maybe.
Wow. You put this above
Horrorland?
Yeah, your Horrorland?
I'm immediately retracting it to it. It's been in the top pentagon.
It's without the top three. It's top three for me. And I'm gonna say it might be right below Horrorland. This is RL. He was riffing. He was ripping.
Yep.
And he was radical as hell with this one. I think this was a good book.
I think this one has some of the best moments. For RL, this has some amazing flow.
Yeah.
I do have notes.
Of course.
Oh yeah, of course.
Don't worry. We will goof on it a little bit. Don't worry.
Oh yeah. One of my notes is I actually end up liking the title of this, but it has kind of this is if you were trying to come up with an uncreative Goosebumps title, you'd say, I don't know, The Haunted School.
Yeah, this is the most boring. And the cover is kind of boring too. It's just a lot of gray homework is on the cover. And I'm sorry, Jacobus, I love your work, but I've got to say that I did not think this was the most engaging.
I think upon retrospect, though, I actually liked it more once I realized the significance of the gray papers and books.
Okay.
I didn't really clock it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I only glanced at the cover. I looked at it again. There's creepy children eyes in it. Never mind. This is a terrifying cover. This is very scary. Sorry, Jacob.
It's a little subtle.
Jacobus, we knew you wouldn't let us down.
I had no memory of this book, by the way.
Me either.
I must have read it, but...
This came out in September 1997, so I was knee-deep in Final Fantasy. I would assume. Hold on, let me see when the Final Fantasy VII came out.
We're too busy looking at Tifa to read this book.
I think late 97 or 98.
North America, September 7th, 1997. What?
Wow.
Well, I don't think I was playing it. I don't believe that I was playing it. I got it for Christmas. So, yeah. This came out. It was too hot, too new. I didn't pick up this book, so I was distracted. That's why I don't remember it.
I think I would have passed this one by just being The Haunted School. I don't know.
Boring.
Go to there. Yeah. Who cares?
I had a thought about Goosebumps today, guys. I had one thought about the book series.
Wow.
And I was thinking about it. Okay, we are reading these books, and we're reading them sequentially, as close to sequentially as we can. And we're reading them, reading all of them. I don't think that it was ever intended, that kids would ever read all of these books. I don't think it was the intention. I don't think RL in his wildest dreams, he probably was like, my whales out there will buy all of these books. I'm going to have a couple whales. But
he knew the term whale already.
He invented the term. I think he just was like, I'm going to put out 100 of these books, or however many, and we're going to some kids are going to pop in when they feel free to pop in. And I think, I was thinking about like the scares, right? Like the fake out scares and all that stuff. And I was like, I don't think he expected you to really be like hip to what he was doing. I think he expected you to pop in once a summer maybe and have one goosebump a summer and forget all about his ways and his methods and be freaked out again. And I think maybe we're giving the kids books too hard of a time.
Can I give a counterpoint already? Because I think this is a very valid thought. It's a very valid thought, Paul.
Sure.
Okay. I appreciate you defending RL.
Okay.
Who sits on top of his pile of money and lies.
It's money that insulates him from any pain of hearing what we have. Anything that we have to say about him. Yes.
If this was true, if RL just wanted to come in and have a sample, we're just seeding the world with Goosebumps stories. You can just a la carte, continental breakfast, come by and go, yogurt, maybe I shall. If this was true, why would there be at the back of every book a checklist of all of the books saying collect all of the books?
He wanted it. He definitely wanted it, for sure.
But on a child's salary, like that would be difficult.
My $5 a month was not paying for that.
Yeah, I know kids these days make like Roblox games and sell them or whatever the crap kids today are doing, but even they probably can't afford all the Goosebumps books.
Do you remember that chapter in Upton Sinclair's The Jungle where like the young little boy works so hard all week in the sausage factory and then he spends his $2 on a Goosebumps book?
That was an oddly prescient moment in a prescient book. And he said, "The whale man himself has released a new book."
He's like, "Oh no, the rats are eating me now. No,
now I have become the sausage." I don't know. I'm just saying, it dawned on me that there might be some judgments we make about these books that maybe most kids didn't really deal with because they weren't reading these things back to back.
Yeah, I'm with you, Paul. I think like he may have made a few sacrifices knowing that the average person would not see every single book and compare them one to the other.
Yes.
Who knows what mysteries of RL's psyche are lingering in these books
in the mind of an RL
that can only be unlocked when you put the full picture together.
The full Mad Magazine picture fold over of R.L. Stein.
Each book is a mosaic tile of the R.L. picture.
That's beautiful.
If we could push the Tim Jacobus covers together like a fold out and then somehow I said like it's about capitalism.
Chad,
whoa!
Has anyone tried? Is my question.
Has anyone tried? We better buy some books and start putting the covers together.
Let's fucking do it.
Is it normal for us to binge these books? No. Is this a flawed experiment? Yes. But it's still...
It had to be done.
It had to be done, and there is still wildly inconsistent quality across the books.
Absolutely.
Some of them very boring and sad. And then this one is just...
This one?
Throwing out ideas.
It just
crazy
goes.
ideas.
It just goes.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the thing. It's fake outs. We hate them. This one, and we start every one of these books, and you get faked out a couple times, and you're like, here we go again.
Oh right? Yeah, this book begins super subtly with our protagonist Tommy falling off a ladder.
That he said an invisible hand pulled him off of, and then he admits an invisible hand did not pull him off of that.
No, it didn't do it.
Was it the invisible hand of the market? Was
it
capitalism the whole time?
Oh, I fell off the ladder into all of these guns and butter.
So Tommy's Tommy's actually a pretty fun protagonist. I kind of like him.
Yeah, Tommy Fraser.
There isn't too much to him. He's a klutz. Like, that's his one trait.
Right.
But he's going through a lot, though, Kevin.
He really is.
He is going through a lot.
He is.
Yeah, like he's got a new mom, which is an interesting way of describing your stepmom.
And we don't know what happened. We're left in the dark about how he got a new mom.
Yeah.
I read this as this first part of as the perfect way to explain why the parents are absent from the adventures of this one, as opposed to mom and dad are busy scientists or they're getting a call away for work.
Right.
It is just, I'm in a new town because we just married a new mom, and my dad is just going down on her 24/7 and has no time for me.
Yeah. Yep. And this also explains why he has exactly 2 friends and no more. Because he's new in town. He doesn't have time to make any friends. So all he has are Thalia and Ben.
I read that as Talia because I did know a Talia growing up. So
Ooh,
I think it's
was
Talia.
it spelled like that?
I believe it was. I believe it was. I think that name too, by the way, Talia Halpert Rodis, too specific because the other kid is Ben Jackson and we have Tommy Fraser.
Well, it's meant to light up a little light bulb in your brain later on, which some might say is an unsubtle and bad twist, but
it wasn't very subtle, but it was still cool.
I guessed it immediately.
Yeah, I still liked putting that together. Yeah, well, we'll get to that.
I don't think they hyphenated names in the 60s, though, did they? Or 1947. I'm sorry, I forgot that we were in the 90s.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Okay, we'll get there. I just thought. Sorry, I saw that name. It felt normally his names are pretty bland, vanilla-y names, right? Like very like Middle America, as close as you safe. We're covering everybody with them. That name just felt like he was not into someone maybe that he knew, and I felt like I don't know. It was just a very specific name. It stood out to me. That's all. That's all I got. I don't know. That's what I was thinking about.
We're in Bell Valley Middle School, which is maze-like. And horrifying in its own construction.
Yeah, it's a real Winchester murder house in terms of. We quickly learn that this is a school that has another school, and then they just built around it as opposed to taking down the old one, which is crazy.
A horrible thing happened at the original school, and they just said, "Let's board it up and start again." It's kind of like in Minecraft where like you start your first house and then you're like board up the first house or inside of your other house. And you're like, we don't go in that old house. That was the
No, you raise it down. You leave your old ones up.
Of course, I'd like to see everything.
That's crazy. That's how you get hiders in the house, man.
That's true. That's how you get people under the stairs.
I don't like that. I don't want hiders in my house.
You're gonna get a Gary Busey coming after you.
Oh no,
not again. Tommy's a klutz. He hears ghost voices in the school when he goes looking for red paint because he's on, I forget what they call it, but he's like the welcome committee or something.
It's like a dance. I know it's like a dance decoration committee.
Yeah, something like that. He's got a dumb job for a child.
He's not making enough money to buy Goosebumps books. That's for sure.
No. So he's on a quest to get paint. He bumps into a scary buff lady with gray eyes.
Greta. Yeah.
Greta.
Which is a nice, they try to fake you out, which I thought, I don't know about you guys. Again, we all called the twist. I was like, and he thinks, we try to have the misdirect of him thinking that Greta's involved in the ultimate twist, but I think we clocked it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Well, that first Greta encounter, so he's like up on the 3rd level of the school looking for the paint, and it's supposed to be like the school is closed, so there should be no one else in there, which is also like, come on, you gotta have supervision. You can't let kids just loose in the school.
Of course.
And he describes her as just, like a big, tall, strong woman.
Yeah.
And this is probably just what my last summer of entertainment has been. I was getting like Lady D vibes from Village.
For sure.
I was getting like a Lady Dimitrescu just standing over, and that cliffhanger was like, she towered over me and lifted me up, and what are you gonna do to me? He's like, she's gonna kiss you. She's gonna.
She chokeslammed him into the locker room.
That tall vampire lady really did things to nerd brains across the world.
It broke a lot of people this summer.
I think it was already there, waiting to be woken up.
It awakened. Yes, it awoke. The sleepers have awoke.
It's a new dawn.
But yeah, she's just a tall, intimidating girl who goes to this school.
Yeah, ultimately inconsequential, right? In the grand scheme of things, she's inconsequential.
The grand scream of things?
Oh my goodness!
I'm sorry.
I know, I'm on board. I'm in awe of that right now.
We gotta get to the statue room.
Oh yeah, what was the statue room about?
This is some more Resident Evil shit that's in this game. There's a statue room.
So Tommy hears voices when he's trying to get red paint, and then he gets lost in this massive twisting school.
The school's colors are black and red.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to get red paint. I put this down before we get to the things. There is a wild pack of dogs terrorizing this town that is mentioned, and we never hear about it again.
Yeah, I love that too.
That would be another incredible Goosebumps book. Just a book about a wild pack of dogs that attack kids on a playground.
The vice principal is also there at night and just casually mentions, I have been busy because there are loose kids, loose dogs.
Loose dogs attacking people in the town.
A pack of dogs are attacking children on the playground.
Of wild dogs. I think he should have done the haunted school and followed it up with a wild pack of dogs. That's what he should have done as the next book in the series.
You know what I bet that was? I bet that was the book RL wanted to write.
That's a first draft part that just got left in.
Yeah, they're like, you absolutely cannot do this wild pack of dogs story. It's too violent. You've got blood going everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Kids are getting ripped apart by dogs. Dogs are getting ripped apart by kids. We can't put this in the Scholastic Book Fair. And he's like, fine. This is the last you'll hear about it.
I will not leave it in the book, I promise.
RL, you keep just pitching these books that are whole chapters of dogs just feasting on kids. And there's no arc. There's no main character.
He was going to call it Blood on the Sand before 50 Cent took that one from him. So there's a room that's full of statues.
Dress statues.
Incredibly lifelike dressed statues that Tommy just slaps around and touches their hands and gives them a wedgie or whatever. He's just in there causing havoc. He's got his lighter out. This kid carries a fucking lighter.
He has a lighter. I love that he calls out. He's like, I know. Kids shouldn't have lighters, but my grandfather...
I love that he apologized for it.
But my grandfather died, so you're like, oh, fuck, I'm sorry, I judged you there. I'm sorry I judged you. That's on me, Tommy.
I remember when I was 12 to 16, the one thing I thought would be the coolest to have in my pocket was a fucking lighter.
A Zippo goddamn lighter.
Same. I saw Pyro and the X-Men doing that. I was like, that's sick. I want that.
You know what the trifecta of cool would be to have as a 6th grader?
Tell me.
Zippo lighter.
Yep.
Can of Banaka. Spray can of Banaka.
Yep.
One of those little combs that flips out like a knife.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They look like the little flip out knives, but so you could scare a person. You pull it out and they think it's a real knife, and you're like, whoosh, and then you just comb your hair back.
Comb your hair.
Yep.
This is basically a character from Better Off Dead. Paul, what is... dumb question. What's Banaka?
It's like a breath freshener that you can spray.
And it has alcohol in it.
It's also flammable, right?
Yes, because it has alcohol in it. Yes.
Yeah.
So it was a bad kid thing to have in the 90s, was to have a Banaka.
Yeah. You go into your mouth and
it would burn. So
yeah, I'd see that in the movies. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I had some Banaka.
Sometimes you would do it a bunch. You would dare someone, be like, I dare you to do 5 Banaka sprays, and that was a bad thing to do.
Yeah. I think that Banaka got kind of erased by those strips.
The strips.
That strip craze.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The strips were not as cool as Banaka. Banaka was cool.
No, they weren't. Banaka was a fun way to forecast to everyone that you think you're about to kiss someone.
Oh, yeah.
It
was like in Wet Hot American Summer when they give each other gum.
Yes. Yes, that is totally what that was. Totally.
Yep.
So the coolest kid in the world's got a lighter, Banaka, and a switchblade comb.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Tommy does.
But,
that's cool.
But if you have all three, you don't appreciate it.
No, because then you don't know which one to act out with, you know?
Yeah, and you're too cool to really appreciate how cool you are, because if you're that cool, you don't make a big deal out of it.
Right. That which is classic cool.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how when Tommy's upstairs in the 3rd story, around the time that he is just filling up these overly realistic statue mannequins of other kids.
Yeah.
Touching their beautiful lips.
Yeah, maybe it was connected to something I didn't see, but like he finds, after he's heard a noise, he finds a black wool like knit cap, which is like what robbers wear. And I was like, Tommy, you got to break in. You got to be careful.
They did have like a Home Alone situation going on there.
and then it's never addressed again.
Well, it is, because he thinks it's a black cat, and then later on he's attacked by a black cat for no reason.
Cat slander. There was some cat slander in there.
RL doesn't like cats. I love cats in Goosebumps books.
Me too.
So.
This was gratuitous cat slander in this one. I would argue. We'll get to it.
Yeah. It's still fun. I still like it. I know cats are good. RL can't convince me cats are bad.
He can't take that from us. It's not going to happen.
So the vice principal tells Thomas that
Thomas.
Little Thomas that
I think this was the actual principal. I don't think this was vice principal. I think
I'm sorry. I should have appreciated her station.
I had real quick, I had to look at Tommy's page because you called him Thomas, and I wanted to see if he was maybe listed as Thomas at some point just for funds. And the French cover version of Tommy is absolutely wonderful. We're going to attach this to the episode. That is beautiful. That's a beautiful image.
Whoa!
Dear listener, if you're not looking at the image right now, it is Tommy with a beautiful red rosy cheeks, a precocious red nose, and a bunch of creepy eyes floating around him, and he's going, "Woo!"
This is a terrible cover.
It's atrocious.
It's the most French mime expression I've ever seen.
This is textbook scary French mime.
Who's that French guy who played Pinocchio in the live action one? This guy is giving off that vibe.
Yes.
Andre Bocelli or whatever.
Sounds awfully Italian.
I mean, I guess that like cover makes sense once you understand more why. Like you kind of understand.
The stairs? Oh, the stairs are the creepy stairs he gets lost on. It all makes sense. It's all there.
Yeah.
Roberto Benigni is who I was
Okay, another Italian.
Roberto Benigni looking motherfucker.
Benigni, yes. The Benigni man. That's the guy from Life is Beautiful.
Yeah, the guy who made 2 Pinocchio movies.
Oh, man.
He's made 2 of them.
He was great.
He's not satisfied.
He was great.
I did want to say one thing about Mrs. Borden is it's cool that she doesn't confiscate Tommy's lighter.
No.
Yeah.
She's very cool. She's angry at first, and then she's like, "Oh wait, I fucking gave you that shitty kid job. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I'm picking on you right now." And then she like totally forgives him.
She's like, "Oh man, I'm saving so much money by making these kids do these menial fucking tasks."
You're really doing me a solid here, Tommy. You can keep the lighter. You can burn down the school if you want to.
Burn all down. We'll just build around it.
We'll just build around it. It'll be another horror for us to build over.
It'll be a Russian nesting doll of cursed schools.
But she also reveals that 50 years ago, putting us in 1997.
So it's 1947, 50 years from 1997. Yep.
Right. 1947, 25 children vanished.
Yeah.
In a tragedy.
And then a man made 25 dolls of them for some reason. That was going to help us heal.
An unrelated man, right? It wasn't the photographer.
I think it might have been Mr. Chameleon.
Mr. Chameleon.
You think it was?
Oh my God.
We'll get to Mr. Chameleon. I don't know that I want to reveal that yet, but I do, Chad, I do think it was. I think that Mr. Chameleon made the...
I just want to find that description because I remember it's like a local artist or something. Mm-hmm. It's like some sort of local town artist like just mourned in a weird way by making realistic child souls
25
statues.
25 terracotta soldiers for this school.
He went over to each of these people's houses, to the parents who are grieving their missing children.
Yes.
And they're like, can I have some of their clothes?
Well,
can I
Mrs. Borden says that the sculptor referenced photographs of the kids to make the sculptures. So it could have been Mr. Chameleon.
It could have been. I know the more we talk about it, and I'm looking at Mr. Chameleon's page, I do not believe actually now that it was Mr. Chameleon that made the dolls.
Is he a recurring character?
Mr. Chameleon? I mean, well, the way this thing ends, Mr. Chameleon is...
He's at large.
I think that there was this was a multi-person thing. There was a second shooter.
Oh, okay.
That Mr. Chameleon's got another partner, and Chameleon takes the pictures, bans him to the Shadow Realm.
He has
spoilers.
Mr. Chameleon has a photographer's assistant, is what you're saying.
You think it's a tragedy racket where like he makes the kids disappear, and the other guy that like creates this whole pocket industry of.
I think there's like a Frighteners situation going on a little bit, yeah, where like he's using the occult to make money, and they're like, okay, and then now you come in and you sell these overpriced child statues to the school board. They will say yes because they are in mourning.
They're in mourning. They're
and
weak.
We're just going to keep flipping this.
Vulnerable.
We just rotate around the country.
And they turned to this life because they were interior decorators that primarily specialized in school spirit events.
Spirit events. And architects that like to build schools around smaller schools that tragedies have happened at.
Oh my God.
It's the perfect crime.
How far does this go?
It's the perfect crime.
Do we talk about Riot Class yet?
Riot Class is the moment in this book
awesome
where I said the hair is down, RL, and I could tell you're having a good time. So I mean, I don't know if there's anything else we need to do.
It's down.
His hair was down, and his hair was way down in this book. He was having a good time writing this.
He doesn't have hair.
He did at the time. He had cool 90s hair.
He had a big pompadour in the 90s. He looked like a Yakuza. And...
Oh, he looked like a real Garfunkel?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
So we learned about the dolls. We find out that they were the 25 children disappeared, and then I don't think anything really else happens at that point, right? He goes back. There's a fake out that his friends Talia and Ben are pretending to be dead. They're not. They're just pretending to be asleep. But he's an overreactor. And
we need a chapter break.
We need a chapter break, so we get ours. We get some. Then we are in the next day in school. And a note that we didn't say about Talia is that she's constantly putting on beautiful makeup, constantly.
Yes.
Yes. And in a nice moment of like just I guess like he doesn't care about these types of things. Tommy says, "I don't think she needed all the makeup," which I thought was a sweet thing of him.
That's sort of like the classic like
milady.
Yeah, it is. It's like the thing that you say until you get a girlfriend, and that gets you in trouble for saying it.
I don't think you get in trouble for that. I've said that to Jen many a time, and I've never gotten in trouble. Maybe I am. Maybe I was doing something and I don't know that I'm doing.
Paul, you've been secretly in trouble this whole time.
No,
Kevin, I am totally with you. I thought about this moment, and I thought about talking to you guys about it, so I'm glad we're bringing it up. The Tommy acknowledged the I like Talia. She doesn't have to do the makeup. I am also someone who prefers a natural look.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it looks nice. I think it looks nice without a lot of makeup for people. But I have also given that same thing where I think it's a compliment to people of you don't need to wear makeup. You're beautiful as is. And it kind of puts some people on the back foot.
True.
Because they're not wearing makeup to look
good for
better.
You.
They're Yeah, or good for you. They're wearing makeup because they like how it looks, or they like changing their face. Yeah,
Talia, if you like that makeup, wear it.
Yeah, and people put a lot into work. They put a lot of work into that makeup. So
you're right.
Mm-hmm.
It can be kind of shitty to hear that you don't need makeup, kind of thing. And it's also sort of like, I'm a man with an opinion about how a woman should look, and that never goes over very well, I've found.
But also, it's super funny to go to people who have too much makeup on and just give them a wet wipe and go, "Here, you need this."
Whoa!
Damn! Chad got aggro over the pandemic.
Chad, that'd be a fun and funny way to die, I think.
Yeah, it's my new YouTube prank channel where I go to people with makeup on and I hand them a wipe and tell them they have too much makeup on.
The channel is called Why Are You So Mad at Me?
It's called #Male Opinions. Much like this podcast.
I thought it was important that we note, though. It is very important that we note the makeup that Talia loves to wear. It comes into play later. So he comes back and that happens. And then the next day he's in class. His teacher's called out and he's just sort of sitting in the back, kind of people watching the class. And Riot Class happens.
Riot Class. I mean, it happens in a very organic way in that their teacher left the room for 2 minutes, and that's all it takes.
And yes, anyone who has been in school knows that is all that it takes for the kids to wild out. A kid pulls out a fucking boombox.
Yes.
And they start dancing. Kids are screaming. Kids are flipping.
They got a kid duct taped to the ceiling. There's a kid throwing knives into a flaming ring.
Some kids are rolling dice in the corner and gambling all their lunch money. It's just chaos.
They're wearing hats that have little flaps that come down around the back that look like a safari hat.
Magic the Gathering cards are everywhere. Urza's Saga is out, and people are whipping them around.
And Kevin, it's riot class. They're bending the corners.
Oh, they're riffle shuffling, dude.
Oh, God, I can't stand by that.
Mm-hmm. It's wild.
No sleeves. And then, there aren't any sleeves yet.
Listen, you could die at any moment to the pack of wild dogs. Do what you will with your magic cards.
That's true now. That's true now.
That is true. That's always true.
Lady Dimitrescu Girl decides to take Talia's lipstick, which is mean. It's a rude thing to do.
It's just mean.
You shouldn't take someone's stuff. Talia loses her goddamn shit and comes at him like a spider monkey.
Yes.
There's a girl fight, and respectfully, no one in the classroom screams girl fight, which someone in my school absolutely would have done.
Really?
Oh, a girl fight was an event.
Oh.
I agree it's wrong to gender confrontations in such a way.
I just don't think our school ever did. Like, if there was a fight, there was just a... I mean, I went to Catholic school, and there were 60 kids. So, I mean, if a fight broke out, it was a rare occurrence. We weren't in,
We had a lot of fights between guys and guys and gals, gals on gals. Mm-hmm. And you usually had about a 60-second time frame before someone got tasered. That's kind of
people got tasered?
Whoa.
Oh, the amount of times I've seen a kid get tasered on the table at lunch... I'm immune to it now.
What?
Holy shit.
Yeah. Is that not normal?
No.
You just pull them off each other.
Chad, were you in juvie?
You don't need to involve Thomas Edison.
I went to a high school where listen, they had closed one. It was a setting for a good Degrassi type season. They had closed one of the schools. There was 4 schools in our town, one for each direction, right? North, south, east, and west. Mm-hmm. A real Game of Thrones thing going. They had closed one of the schools and forced them to join our school.
Bad news right there.
That was already in the middle of remodeling to make room for everyone. Mm-hmm. So most of the school spent 2 years, including some of them their senior year, in what do you call those, like outdoor squares? Like trailers, but not trailers.
If you had a new area, the annex, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it created some real tension.
Wow,
sounds like
the seniors of these warring high schools who now had to live together.
Did you go to school in Raven City?
What is Raven? Which one's Raven?
That's from Half-Life 2.
Ravenholm?
Ravenholm, that's it.
Ravenholm. City 17 or Ravenholm.
City 17, yeah. I blend them together. Actually, City 17 was what I was thinking of.
Raven City sounds like a Manic Panic color.
Yes, it is.
There were often times that a security guard would come by and go pick up that can, and he would knock a can at me.
My school didn't have security guards.
We had security guards, but they weren't armed like Chad's were.
Yeah, we had several. We had a vice principal that got like fired for breaking up a fight.
Wow.
Whoa.
Because he got in and got physical, and then I think it was a smart idea. He pulled the fire alarm because the fight was escalating as kids were leaving.
He added more chaos to it.
Well, like, kids were all, like, it was like a fight that was happening in between classes, right, in the hallway. And he couldn't get the fight going. And so then the bell rang, so now hundreds of kids are filling the hallway in the middle of this fight.
Oh, my God.
So he pulled the fire alarm to get everyone to clear out, and then he got fired for that. It was a whole thing.
Chad, you went to a violent school.
I just went to a school that we all lived and went through some stuff, We all experienced things.
By the end of the school year, did you mend ties with the other school, and like there's like a unity prom or something? Or
I think so. We like Hands Across America.
Yeah,
a ceasefire prom, if you will.
Like, you're like, hey, we're all from the same fucking town. How different could we be?
You know, I want to tell you, Kevin, that there was a happy end. It was really more just, I came in as a freshman, so I didn't care. I didn't feel any loyalty towards my high school over the other high school. But we really just waited for the seniors from both sides who had a lot of, Capulets and Montague feud going to just kind of graduate out of the system, and that took care of itself.
Gotcha.
Chad, I went to a high school where, like, I didn't even get, like, bullied. Like, everyone was just really cool with each other.
That's a wild one.
That sounds awesome.
You two went to polar opposite high schools, it sounds like.
I was a theater dork, and, like, the head cheerleader was my sponsor for, like, the Mr. Westford Academy thing we did.
What?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Wait, hold on. Sorry. What does that mean?
It was like a date auction thing that we did where, like, you could bid on date.
Okay, we're not talking about this book anymore. Kevin, tell us about you being auctioned out and being mentored by the head cheerleader?
That's pretty much the story.
I would watch this rom-com. Tell me more.
I think this, this sounds like a great Camp Goosebuds conversation.
Yeah.
Camp Goosebuds, the show that only our Patreon supporters can listen to.
Maybe we'll talk about that one. I swear you've heard probably the best part of it so far, but yeah.
No, there's so many good juicy tidbits that only you can hear if you listen on patreon.com/goosebuds. Did we just do the equivalent of a mid-roll ad in our episode?
We did. It was organic.
We did. We're really smart. We're really smart about this whole podcasting thing. We get it. You guys get it. Be proud of us.
Mm-hmm.
So little Thomas is like, oh, weird. Well, I guess I'm making friends here in school, and then he finds a sideways elevator.
Yeah, he tries to stop the fight between Greta and Talia, and it does break up eventually. And things are fine. Things settle down. He asks Talia what's up, and she's like, "No reason. Leave me alone." And they drop it. And then yes, the ceasefire prom starts. The dance starts.
Right.
And
ceasefire prom.
Their decorations look awesome. The vice principal knows that she exploited child labor to her best benefit, and things look great. And then the band, what is it called? Grunt
that has 5 guitar players and 1 drummer. It's an amazing
RL had his finger on the pulse there. That's some real shit right there.
I loved that.
Yeah.
A 90s band of children called Grunt.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
It's like spot on.
Well done, RL.
He was firing on this one, man. It was great. So that they're showing up and they wreck one of their banners, and Ben and Thomas. I was going to call him Tommy. I had to switch back to Thomas. Thomas. They go to find some more paint or tape or something to be able to fix it. They go to the art class, where in the beginning of the book, Tommy had a little run-in with some voices and some creepy stuff going on, which was actually creepy. This book starts to get creepy, takes you to creepy dolls, gives you a little break with riot class, and then puts you right back into it because they go and they find a creepy ass elevator because I think Ben knocks over a wall, which sounds very dangerous. Sounds like it was not a good well constructed wall.
Yeah, Ben jackasses into a wall.
Yes.
And it falls over. And it's kind of contrived how they get there because they're trying to get up to the art room as fast as possible. And Tommy's like, I know the way. And Ben is like, you very obviously don't. You're the new kid here.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get lost, and then they get more lost, and then wall, and then they find an elevator. And sideways elevator, amazing. I love the concept of sideways
creepy.
Elevator.
It's just one of those things that it shouldn't be, and it's creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
You don't want no part of that.
And the scene or the chapter where they're in the elevator together and the buttons don't work and they don't know what to do, and like Ben has already taken battle damage and is bleeding.
Yep.
It just sort of puts like a claustrophobic pressure on the whole thing. And I think some of RL's best chapters and scares are claustrophobia scares.
Agreed. It's very very relatable, and that, like we were saying, Horrorland, a great example of using some claustrophobia for a true scare.
Mm-hmm.
A true scare that the censors cannot touch because it's just a small room. Small rooms are legal to put children in. That is why RL relies on it.
Yeah. All the terror is up in your brain case.
Mm-hmm. There's no wild dogs trying to eat these children right now. They're just in a small room.
I don't know who to root for, the wild dogs or the children, but I want to see the fight.
I'm with the dogs.
I'm with the dogs, yeah.
Let the doggy sort it out. Let the doggy sort it out. So they ride the sideways elevator to Sideways Town.
Yeah.
Come out, and they're fumbling through. This is a moment where Tommy should have pulled out his lighter. He didn't do it, but I know why he didn't. Wait, there's a reason why, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's using his Resident Evil smarts to save the fuel from burning zombies.
He is being resourceful. That is correct.
Yep.
They walk into a room and they see a bunch of children hanging out in this weird classroom, and they're all gray. And that's when we realize we're in scary Pleasantville, guys.
Yup.
Mm-hmm.
They immediately jump Tommy and Ben being like, colors.
They're fiendish for colors. It's great.
They haven't seen colors in 50 years.
50 years, yeah.
These are the kids that vanished because Mr. Chameleon, a local business person.
Well, he could be traveling. We don't know for sure, just to be clarified.
That's true.
He seems to frequent Bell Valley.
But maybe he just knows he's got like a cycle that he does, right? Like a track that he goes through America.
He's got to keep moving.
Yeah.
He can't stay in one
and
town.
he's got a 50-year cycle, though, because he knows he can come back for that.
Do we think it's the same Mr. Chameleon at the end, or do we think it's Son of Chameleon?
Oh, maybe it is Son of Chameleon.
Like a generational,
Yes.
Here's how you steal child souls and kind of thing.
CJ.
Yeah, CJ. Chameleon Jr.
I'll never forget his name, Eloise said sadly. Mr. Chameleon. I'll never forget it because the chameleon changes colors and we can't. Great quote.
From the book.
Great quote from the book.
Great quote.
I remember going I guess that name does have an association with colors, but I don't want to nitpick. It just didn't feel like it actually.
And we don't want to change colors. We just want our colors back. I mean,
yeah.
If his name had been Mr. Inkblot or something, I would have been like, okay, I understand.
Yeah,
Mr. Chameleon does sound like a PlayStation 2 game that never made it over to America from Japan.
His name, you know what his name should have been? It should have been Mr. Turner Vision.
Mr. Sepia Tone.
Mr. Chameleon has a sinisterness to it. You can't be sure of
that's true.
Who he is or what he is. He's always shifting. He's in the background.
A vagabond by nature, like Chad has said.
Headcanon. He wears sunglasses, and when he pulls them down, he's got those gross chameleon eyes that point in all directions.
Ooh, I love that.
There is a drawing of Mr. Chameleon upon the Wikipedia, and he is definitely wearing creepy glasses.
Yes.
I think it's worth mentioning that drawing is from the more recent. I discovered via the same research, Paul. Did you guys know there's a Goosebumps clicker game?
There is. Jackie Baker, who was on the show, is obsessed with it.
Do we need to get into that?
I'll check it out.
Do we just start playing?
Let's play it.
Because one of them is it looks like a city builder where you try to collect as many Goosebump monsters as possible, and one of them is definitely Mr. Chameleon.
Well, I gotta get him.
Is
this like Genshin Impact? Do I have to
I think it's more like that Simpsons one where it's isometric, walk around a little model of a town and click on things and spend money to, I don't know, build a monster closet. I don't know. There's also a very cool depiction of him, I thought on the wiki, from the Icelandic translation of the book. They put a realistic photo of a man in black and white. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool because it's just the right level of blurry and vague that you can't really get a latch onto him.
No. I don't want that one. That's too scary.
No, that's true creepiness right there. Actually, we'll have to put these up because there's some creepy stuff going on.
We'll have to tweet them.
Yeah.
Also, fun trivia fact that in the Horror Town game, they reveal that his full name is Mr. Mumler Chameleon, and that is a reference to William Mumler, the inventor of spirit photography.
Oh, cool. Okay, look, he was doing his. There's a lot of thought going into this one, and I know I just made fun of a pretty silly quote from this book, but RL, you were kicking ass here, man. And then you get and then you call the place Grey World, but we'll get
Grey World. I like Grey World.
Me too.
Grey World describes it.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know where the point. I don't know where else to say this note, but I have to say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
RL, has certain tropes. We'll have something sour, a sour smell later.
In the greatest scene in this book.
In the greatest scene in this book, which I can't wait to talk about.
Possibly the greatest scene in any Goosebumps book. Even though it might not be the best one, it was the best book. It was the greatest scene.
Legitimately unsettling.
Truly.
Loved the shit out of it.
Truly.
And yet somehow still like very kid friendly.
Mm-hmm.
So RL, another phrase he's used a lot is falling hard on your hands and knees.
Or elbows and knees. You're right. It is,
or elbows and knees.
Yeah.
Falling hard is hard as an adverb is used 6 times in this book.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Like we get blinking hard, listening hard, swallowed hard, breathing hard, shoved hard, and trotting hard. There's hard trotting in this book. Yeah, that one's a little weird. I don't know how you listen hard. Like, I feel like hard is a very 90s adverb where it's like...
The way you listen hard is by squinting your eyes because you can hear better when you're squinting.
Listening so hard.
Listening the hardest I can.
How do you blink hard? do you just like squeeze your eyes down until they like make a little fart?
It's speed. It's all about speed.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. You know when Space goes coast to coast, how Zorak would blink and you could hear it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's how hard.
That's a hard blink.
Got it. An audible blink.
Grey World is fucking wild.
Grey World is crazy. So there are the sane kids who live in this like one schoolroom.
Yeah.
They can't open the door to, and they have an elevator that doesn't work. And I guess they just sit there all day in this classroom and do nothing.
And dream about color.
And they're the sane ones.
I know. And it makes what we see later very understandable.
Because they say that like the other ones lost their minds, who went outside of the school, implying that there's a whole... It's like Silent Hill, right?
Yeah.
Where, like, you start going too far, who knows what you're going to fucking find.
Right.
Those people all went goddamn feral, which is really scary and cool.
So Tommy and Ben get spooked by the sane kids in Grey World after they start seeing that their hands are losing color.
Yep.
They're like, oh my god, we got to get out of here before we're totally gray.
I love this because RL instills a Back to the Future time like a time mechanic, right? He's like letting us know, like, all right, there's a ticking clock now. There's a what are those things called? The sand vials with the
hourglass.
There's a ticking hourglass going on here, guys, and. And it's great. It's a great little way to let you know that time's ticking. These kids got to get out of here.
Tension is ramping up.
And it's great because this book is moving. I do love. I did have to write down the quote of when Ben is asking Seth, who's the leader of the least feral children of the Grey World kids that are in the room, what's going on? Where are we? And then Ben answers with this very perplexing answer. Ben, he said, did you ever see a wall and wonder what was on the other side? Ben glanced uncomfortably at me. Yeah, I guess, he replied. And then Seth, well, we're on the other side, Seth cried. We're on the other side of the world, and now you are too. And I was like, I don't know that clarified the situation at all, Ben.
No.
It's like, we're in the upside down, but it's like the flip horizontal.
Yes, the flip horizontal.
Yeah, he picked the wrong axis for his metaphor.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that happened.
So when they're running out of the room, they open the window and they jump out into the Grey World. Seth yells, watch out for the crazy kids in the pit." Or something like that.
Yes, they've referenced the pit, and it's
the pit.
It's cool. I heard that, and I was like, we better see this pit, and it better be cool. And it did not let us down. Yeah,
let's breeze through the next few things that happen. They get lost in a fog storm. Black cat scares Tommy for some reason.
Black cat knocks Tommy to the ground, which, again, cat slander. A cat would not be able to knock you over. Not a fully grown child.
If a cat landed on my shoulder, I would feel so blessed.
I would sit down and say, Grey World is my home now.
Grey World, not so bad, you think. It's going to be fine. There are a lot of abandoned buildings.
It's a little Silent Hilly. There's some weird fog going on.
Plenty of property value, yeah.
But from the fog, the crazy children emerge.
The crazy children. The feral children emerge upon them from Grey World, and they're freaked out, rightfully so, because the kids start to dance a Junji Ito-esque creep dance.
I was gonna say it is Junji Ito. It is like it's got the Lovecraft vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
If they're just like going turn.
What is it? It's turn to gray, turn to gray, and then they start doing like kicks with their legs, and they're like forming a circle around them and dance. Oh my god, it's so creepy.
It's a real Rockettes thing going on.
Oh my god, it's tremendously fucked up. I love it, and the circle keeps tightening.
Mm-hmm.
Like what they're trying to do is like stop Ben and Tommy from running away, and Tommy's like, okay, well, you go that way and I'll go this way. Bye, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
and then of course he trips and they fuck up, and the crazy kids take him to the pit. Oh my god!
Do they explain where the pit comes from, or is it just part of Grey World?
It's just part of Grey World. It's just a boiling pit of black ooze that's sour smelling, and the kids are drinking buckets of the ooze and spitting it at each other.
So that's the greatest scene. But I do want to throw something out here, because I thought about this when we were talking about I've got to talk about the Wild Pack of Dogs again, because I loved it. I did think, what if the Wild Pack of Dogs are our reality's version of the feral children?
Oh my god!
What if there are 20 wild dogs in Bell Valley?
Okay, we did kind of skip over just the detail that before he went into Grey World, Tommy was hearing whispers of voices saying like, "Help me."
Mm-hmm.
He's like hearing voices, so like maybe Grey World is trying to reach into ours. Maybe packs of dogs.
Yes.
What if the pit is not unique to Grey World? What if it's also in Bell Valley?
Maybe there is a pit. Maybe there's some sort of like natural disaster that happened in Bell Valley. Here's the thing. This is why this book is good. There's unanswered questions that I want to figure out. I want to know what happened.
Uh-huh.
I think it's definitely the black ichor that they're drinking that is making them crazy, though.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
It could be the time, but like they have this whole ritual where they're like they're like putting the black liquid into their mouths and they're spitting it at each other.
And they're screaming, "No color in the cup," a boy shouted. "Drink the blackness," a girl cried. "Drink, drink, drink." Kids cheered and applauded.
It's
beautiful.
So cool. It's so creepy.
They're truly screaming "no color in the cup" and then drinking of it is scary.
A bunch of 60-year-old children blitzed out of their mind on pit juice.
On ichor. Yep.
On
Pit ichor. Pitker.
Are just like wilding out, chanting, screaming, spitting at each other, and forcing our heroes into a pit of boiling black sour liquid. That is cool. I like this scene. I think this might be my favorite Goosebumps. Like this one was just
pretty.
Really,
it's
really
pretty
cool.
good.
It's good, right?
How it takes it doesn't like abandon the premise, because it's just like there's haunted school,
right?
Sure,
yeah.
That's anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed on the wiki they're like, technically this isn't a haunted school. I'm like, yeah, it is. Like it's
absolutely a haunted school. They're haunting it.
They just represent their hell world via gray Pleasantville, and that's really. It sends them to another dimension. That's really cool.
It could also be interpreted as it's haunted by the tragedies.
By the tragedy. Yes, I think they're splitting hairs about what a ghost is here, right?
Yeah, I love this turn. I love that it's not like really a ghost story. Mm-hmm. It's just like
I was so scared that there was going to be that the kids in the school, because we never see them outside of the school. All the scenes take place in the school, and I was like, they're gonna all be the ghosts. I was like, they're gonna all be the kids that got lost, and I was so afraid that was gonna be our twist, and I was gonna be so upset that it was so lazy. And they didn't do that, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's by fault or by mistake that he mentions Ray Bradbury in this one. I think he was on a Ray Bradbury level here. I'll say it.
I think he brings up Ray Bradbury, in particular his surprising endings, as sort of a defense of his style.
Yes.
Being like, look, like I know my endings are a little like wacky and twisty, but you know who else had some wacky endings? Ray Bradbury. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I was trying. I was like, I don't know what story they're referencing. I haven't read that many ones, but it seems to be referencing a story called All Summer in a Day.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the book that Tommy is reading during their silent reading before the riot room happened.
Is that the one about kids on Venus?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, I remember that one.
What, is that in one of the books? Because I don't know if I've ever read that one.
It said it was published in the Magazine of Fantasy and Science Fiction. I'm sure it's been collected in
I guess that has to be.
It was also made into a PBS children's story, which seems really dark for a children's movie to take. It's really a bleak story. I just even reading the plot synopsis of children live on Venus where it's constantly rain and they have 1 hour every 7 years of sun. And one of the children Margot has moved from Earth to Venus, so she's seen the sun before. Meanwhile, no one else in that class has ever seen the sun, so they're jealous at her. And before the next sun rotation is about to happen, the kids stuff her in a closet down a tunnel, and she misses out on the sun enjoyment. The kids love it.
Oh, that's
and they
horrible.
They like kept it from her, and that seems to be just the end of the story.
Yeah,
that's just kind of it.
Yeah,
that sounds like Bradbury.
That sounds like kids.
Yeah,
that sounds like kids too. Yeah.
There's not like a 1-to-1 to this story, but I did think there was some sort of parallelism you could, if you wanted to connect it between the color of the sun and, you know,
or the evil horde of crazy children doing whatever they please as like a part of fear. But there is that one girl who's part of the sane group, and she has a cold and she can't get better because there's no sunlight. Which I thought was like a hell, like a perpetual hell. Like because I don't think I think this is just implied, so it might not be what he intended, but I took it as she's had the same cold for 50 years.
Ew,
damn!
They're trapped. They're trapped in the state. Oh my goodness! Can you imagine?
She probably had to go to school for picture day because even though she was sick, because her mom's like, "There's no way you're missing picture day."
Yeah.
It's 1947 that we're not going to be able to get a picture for another 3 years. There's not going to be another picture man that's going to come around for years.
Can I also say how proud I am of RL for having the solution to a problem be in the child's pocket?
Oh, like, I love it.
When he whips the lighter out and lights a bunch of leaves on fire and the colors like startle and blind the feral children.
Very cool.
Wigged out on Icker, like... That was cool. That was great. And it was a Goosebumps protagonist doing something smart.
It was great because I was a little frustrated at him not using it when they leave the sideways elevator. And I get why it was withheld, because you don't want to reveal that he has that power just yet, right? I mean, I think he could have used it there, and like, because we didn't know you could have seen that the world was gray, and he could have been like, oh, it's so weird that everything is just like gray here, right? And it could have worked there, and then he could have put it away when Seth could have like knocked it out of his hand and it could have gone out, right? And then they could have been brought into the room, and then we have the same unfolding of events that happened. So like, I think he could have used it one more time to kind of remind you that he has this lighter that's got color in it still. But I do get why he did withhold it, so that we could have this moment, like you said, Kevin, where a character with an item that was mentioned earlier, it pays off in the end, and he uses his smarts.
Love to see a magic sword be used.
Love to see a sword of Damocles drop.
Yep. Love to see that Chekhov's gun go off.
Chekhov's Zippo.
Chekhov's Zippo would be a great 90s punk band.
That actually would be really cool.
Are we still describing the plot, by the way? Or are we just talking about how much we like this book? I'm not complaining.
I mean, there's not. So they get saved, right? They get the non-feral kids show up, knock them. They're about to get dropped into the black pit, and Seth and his crew show up, knock them out, and save them briefly. And they're trying to run away, but the feral children are too fast because they're wild dogs.
Then they're running on all fours, like they're running on all covered in black liquid, and they're just running on all fours.
And they're going bark, 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 bark. and so that's where he lights. He's like, I got it, and he lights the thing's on fire because we have shown that the kids are awed by color. These Greyland children, Grey World children are awed by color. So he blinds them briefly. It's like basically a phosphorus grenade that he throws in these kids' eyes.
Yeah, some real pitch black shit.
Real pitch black shit. Yes, fucking love that movie. And he blinds them briefly, and they're able to escape. Then they get back, and then they're talking, and they're like, well, you're almost done. Like, I think it's their cheeks and their nose are the only thing that have color, much like the picture on the French cover. And and then they tell him, oh, well, there was one of us who escaped. And he's like, it was Greta. She's the one. She's got gray. She's all gray. She wears all black, and she's gray. But no, she's just a goth. And then Talia shows up. She comes in the elevator, and she's like, this is the only part that stuck me, that I was... She pulls out the lipstick that she loves, and she uses. She's like, I've been painting myself so that I'm not gray, so that I could like fit into your world, but I don't fit in there. I guess this lipstick, because I kept it in a purse, stayed red. That bugged me. It felt a little lazy.
It kind of makes sense with the lighter too, because the lighter eventually goes gray. I think if like something's insulated from the outside gray world, like if you like cut into one of the kids, they bleed red.
Right.
It's just like
so if a kid was like, to follow that same logic, Kevin, a kid was like, if they saw Thalia, who said she took the red lipstick and drew a door. Mm-hmm. And then was able to leave. Same way a kid could be like, I'm pooping, and they could poop and
make a poop window. They could make a poop window.
They could make a poop door.
But unfortunately, Chad, they'd be eating gray food, and thus their poop would be gray from the start.
Oh no, they had to have done. It had been food that they digested when they came from Earth. Yeah.
I will say this: maybe they can't poop, just like how the girl is stuck with the sickness. They cannot poop in this world because they are stuck in that state.
There was some kid who had to go to the bathroom so bad before the picture day.
And he couldn't pee.
And got frozen like that for 49 years.
That's why he went feral.
That's why they're spitting the ichor into each other's mouths, because they can't swallow it.
They can't swallow it. Oh my God, this book is the greatest book that was ever written.
But I think Greta is a feral. I think she is from Grey World. Mm-hmm. Because she wears all black. And her eyes are gray, and like maybe she just does a lighter makeup, but it explains why Talia and her had like that fight over the lipstick, because it clearly meant more than just like the lipstick.
Yep.
I think Greta was like, I'm gonna let loose the rest of my gang. With the lipstick.
My God, you think Greta was actually still a feral?
Whoa.
Yeah. I think she's been away from the black ichor for long enough to like think straight, but I think she's like, I'm going to get that lipstick, and then I'm going to open a portal, and then all my gray boys are coming out.
You were the only person who's thought of this, because Greta is not a tag character on the wiki. Nobody has put these things together. That is what this show does. Yeah. This show cracks open the secrets of Goosebumps.
I think there's a lot of sequel potential here with Greta still around, with Mr. Chameleon, who, again, feels like a first draft name, but you know who the fuck they're talking about when they get to the end of this book, and we'll get there. But because Talia is like, I'm home, I'm back in Grey World, and she draws a window for Ben and Tommy to crash through just in time.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they're whisked away. Everything happens really fast after this. They're whisked away by Mrs. Borden to get their picture taken by Mr. Chameleon.
Boom. Picture is taken. Tommy screams. The book ends. Great twist ending. A great twist ending.
Great twist.
I'll say it. I love this one. This one was fucking fantastic. Is there a Vidya
version?
A Vidya? Is there a watching?
I don't think so.
It's funny. I was thinking about that too. I was like, I gotta see what this looks like, and there isn't.
They could save money on the film.
They could have done it on black and white. You're right.
I think the effect might have been too much for them at the time of doing like the Pleasantville.
Doing like the Schindler's List, like one.
Yeah, color key or whatever it's called. Mm-hmm. That might have been too much for them at the time for a Canadian studio in the 90s.
True.
Maybe. I honestly, one of my only complaints with it was the convenience of Mr. Chameleon happening to return after 50 years to take another picture of that day. It's very convenient.
Could be Son of Chameleon.
It could have been Son of Chameleon, which I think is cool. I did think about that, Chad, as well. And I think my thought was, if it would have been really cool if there were like a series like of every decade that like 25 children or like a bunch of children went missing, and there was like a constant like there was something creepy going on in this world. I think that would have been a really
There was generations of, like that really cool film series, Fear Street.
I think the ending is a little weak. I'll agree with you guys there. I think it probably would have been scarier if if when you opened the portal out, it stayed open and the ferals got into the
like on the cover.
Into the color world. Yeah.
Like on the cover with the eyes looking through the thing. Yes, that would have been cool.
And like the last thing, Ben's like, oh, good. Tommy's like, oh, good. Everything's back to normal. And then he looks out the window and he sees like a feral gray world child with like a dove in its mouth running on all fours into the woods.
Yes.
I'd love that. And also, I'll say, like, the way we're talking about Gray World, it actually kind of helps me get over that same note I just brought up of, like, feels like Mr. Chameleon or Chameleon Jr. or Chameleon the Third, depending on how fast they fuck.
True.
Like, he could probably sense a disturbance in Gray World.
Yeah.
Probably. Mr. Chameleon's probably got some sort of base of operations in Gray World. I'd like to write this series. Seems like a fun setup.
I'd love to see a scene of like Mr. Chameleon just like I love keeping him in the background and like giving him no dialogue and make him totally mysterious. But I just want a scene of him like taking a sip from a coffee mug, and then when it comes down from his lips are black.
Yes. Yes, he's got an ichor cup. Oh my god.
He's got an ichor cup.
Yeah, I want to know what he's doing. What is he doing with the children? Why does he send them to the world? What is he doing with Gray World? What is it all about?
What's he get out of it?
Well, yeah. Is it just the grift? Is it just the real world grift? Or is there some power? Has he lived forever because he draws the power of those children's lives into his body? I don't know. And I want to know. It's great. It's good. It's good stuff.
I also like the comedy of the scene that potentially has to happen between this and also the 1947 one, where he takes the picture, the kids all, Ghostbusters go into the trap, and then he's just packing up his things. The teacher's like, "You done? Where are the kids?" Like, "Oh yeah, no, they're good.
There weren't no kids. Never saw no kids.
Here's my bill. Goodbye," and then just leaves and is completely able to get
Darndest
away.
thing, took the picture, and then a tornado came through and took them all. I don't know. It's fucking crazy. Just a little mini tornado came through.
Like after he takes the picture, do the kids vanish immediately? And he's like, "Oh, weird. That's happened twice in a row."
Or do they like Back to the Future vanish, like slowly fade?
Yeah.
Here's my creepy pitch, or maybe I think it's creepy. They don't immediately fade because that would be too obvious for Mr. Chameleon.
Okay.
He takes the pictures. Their souls, those kids, are in that moment instantly transported to Gray World.
Okay.
What's left behind is a shadow of those kids.
And it slowly fades.
Emotionless. Yeah, and those emotionless, they don't say anything. Their parents pick them up. They're like, "Oh, I guess you're quiet."
That night they all were tucked in by their parents, and then the next morning they had faded away completely.
Ooh,
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally.
I love that.
An after image is left behind.
If we were making the episode, that is how, if we were like making the video episode, that is how we would do it. That's creepy as hell. I love that, Chad.
I want them to go deeper into Gray World. And like I want there to be like one like inexplicable like corpse like old person in there called the Ancient, and we never explain what he is.
Oh my god.
That's how deep I want us to go.
Yes. There is so much potential. I love this. I think this is a great one. This was the sum of all of RL's efforts rolled up. This is the best one. This is better than Horrorland. This is better than Horrorland.
This is Junji Ito. This is Junji Ito by way of R.L. Stein. Like this is great.
It's in my top 3.
Okay.
It's in my top 3. In my conspiracy theory that I think I'm alone on now that RL didn't write all of these, this feels like a non-RL one for some reason because of how crazy it is, but
I think
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Honestly, I don't think he would personally request that 6 whatevering hards be put in there. I think this is all RL.
I think so too.
I do think there are Goosebumps books where I'm with you. They were ghost written, but this one feels like just crotchety enough.
It's too weird. I think the Wild Pack of Dogs is weird. I think the cat slander is definitely on brand for RL. And I think No Color in the Cup, Drink the Blackness is just too weird. You can't offshore that.
That's genius. If I was a ghostwriter, I wouldn't put that in a Goosebumps book. I would save that for my own work.
Save it.
That's mine. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how I know this one's RL. Is it's too good for whatever he was paying his ghostwriters.
Yep. I want the royalties on Drink the Blackness.
Drink the Blackness.
I love that. It's so good. Guys, it's sad. We only have 3 books left, I think.
I know.
Man, this was really good. I'm looking forward to Goosebumps 2000. I think it's okay. Sometimes dreams have to die to let the new ones live.
I'm with you. I'm on board. We've visited some of Goosebumps 2000 already.
Yeah.
And I think we've had some good times with they've been maybe not as good as this, but I think they've had some
Cry of the Cat is up there for me. That's 2000. Cry of the Cat I thought was
This is going to be another one of those high peaks though that I think we're going to be chasing.
Oh yeah.
On the upper echelons of the spectrum.
Who knew that at the end of the run he hit this, right?
Is this chronologically towards the end?
This is the 4th to last. There are 3 books after this, 2 of which we have read, Werewolf Skin and Monster Blood 4. We only have 1 chronologically, I Live in Your Basement, after this.
Wow.
But we have Deep Trouble 2, which we skipped to go to this because we thought the title sounded...
But we've already covered it? I don't know.
We're going to read it. We're going to read it.
People listening, do you want us to cover Deep Trouble 2? Message us.
Tweet at us.
Yeah, let us know.
Tweet at us. Do other things. Go on our Patreon and support us and leave a message there. Leave a review that tells us what you think there.
We got some great new merch. Goosebuds 64 stickers.
Yep.
And our wrestler personas on goosebuds.store.
Check out goosebuds.store. Maybe get yourself a tank top of our new shirt design, because I got one and I'm holding on to some good pics of myself.
Yeah, Kevin, are you gonna post those thirst trap pics or what?
I'm gonna maybe if we see a few more sales on that tank top, I'll put them out there.
What is the amount of money that Kevin will release the pictures? You must buy shirts to find out.
I mean, if you're gonna get something, you got to give something. That's all I'm saying.
They're in color.
They're in color. It did not lock me into a colorless void dimension.
So if you're worrying about buying the shirt for that reason, you're good.
Yeah,
guys, I think this has been a bump. This has been a bump for the ages.
This has been a tall bump.
This has been a hard bump.
A hard bump and a great bud.
Truly stupendous buds. My buds, I love you guys. I love this book.
I love you. I love you whether you have makeup on or not. I love you both.
I love you both, makeup or not. Let's chase. I'm so excited to chase this high with you for the remainder of these books.
Hey, let's feel like this forever.
Goosebuds is brought to you by the beautiful Patreons that we are about to list off from the Book of Names, and you too can join them.
Book of Names.
Stefan Jive Turkey Kuwabara.
Hollis Hornbeak.
Cameron Murphy Audio.
Michael McDowell.
David Cron.
Josh Robertson.
Vicky C.
Nathan Dolzal.
Clayton C.
Mike Lanteri.
Buddy Morrill.
Ailcade.
Mel Dipson.
Jim Greaves.
Zankeith.
Afsheen.
Danky McStanky.
Aaron T. Strunk.
Dango Twists.
Brian Wells.
Z to the E to the N to the criticals. We'll keep it.
It was great. It was beautiful. Stealth Bates.
Joseph Miranda.
Patrick Reynolds.
Scott Colopy.
Robert Moon.
Low Belly Hate Me.
Jason Crooker.
John Keaty.
Clay Castle.
we're doing the.
It's so easy to go into Don Pardo.
Miguel Pardo.
Christina Doling. Wait.
No, that was mine. Christina Doling.
Third Sergio.
And Calf.
Matthew Moore, Paranoia Shop. Matthew, I appreciate it, but it's not going to happen.
They demand more.
Sniggy.
Reinfected.
Maddie.
Ishak Arafin.
Gregory D. Warren.
Alan Saylor.
Sam Hash.
Cody Redfield.
Rich Hilborn.
Bradford Coulter.
Eden Alexander Dice.
Jar Jar Slinks.
Justin Wagman.
Chosen One.
Cardboard Walk.
Levi Than.
I just got that. I just got it was boardwalk and cardboard combined.
Oh my god.
Up and Champ.
Jonas Engman.
Alicia Grafe.
Trent Davis.
Moloister.
Carl.
Hey, Paul, pause for a second. I gotta get something off my chest. I think I love broccoli.
The John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation.
Jonas Blotterman.
Elusive Koala.
Yanni Markovina.
Joe.
Brooks.
Jesus Christ.
Christian Vanskiver.
Drew Applegate.
Jeremy Lowe.
Brian Hobgood.
Slum Lord Onion.
Paul Grasso.
Trans rights, baby.
Zach Connor.
Taylor Dierks.
Joe, I'm not tired. I always look like this. Scott.
Feel that. Patreon_donator, yo.
Joe Spooky Digital Ghost Tierney.
Ooh.
Trendy Moron.
Tom Whittam.
Kevin Hamilton.
Nope. I'm not going to read the funny name attempt from Andrew Jadzak this time. Not going to do it.
Kevin, I wish you wouldn't treat Andrew like that. Lord Cornwallis.
Vincent Modica.
Luke Canoodles.
Elizabeth Steenweg.
Cardamom Birkenbino.
Murphy P.
Hugh Bolin.
Zambambino.
Tevin Ticklebean is your new best friend.
Aww.
Coon Cahoots.
SNES Chalmers.
Sean Minogue.
Wormtown Glen.
Wiggle it!
Nathan Remick.
Div Holdy.
John Pigeon Hat Barber.
Matt McClellan.
Chip Handsome.
Stinklich.
Reed Stubendike.
There you go. Joey Evans.
Alex Moon, the robotic dog.
Nailed it.
Carewise Gamgee.
Sarah Kemp.
Tanya Turtle.
Chili Dish Gambino.
Uncle Cool Brother.
Cameron Hansen.
Brett.
Chad, did you almost say audio after that one? Because I thought it. Generally depressing.
Always. E. Tonomore.
Adam Goofed.
Juan Jalapeno.
Yeah.
Ben Bohan.
Muscles Bear.
Keith Halcrow.
Chris. Haunted Pajama Boner Nelson.
Timothy Misodulakis.
Clay McCarty.
Dan.
Chris Pittman is a bone wizard.
Boss Garrettson.
Matthew Stevens.
Hey, Eric, it's going to be all right. You're doing a great job.
Parker Lee.
When Dragons Rule.
Hambo.
Make your Peloton instructor a skeleton instructor.
Nice.
I like that.
Nice. Jonas and Evoldson.
Calamity Carl.
Germ Juice.
Raymond Hernandez.
Flamley.
The Crow Fens.
Well, Matthew Sutton.
Nick Johnson. I want to know what the history is.
Patrick Murphy. Not audio, just Patrick Murphy the person.
Jeffrey Owen Cahy.
Stephen Day.
Lee Wood.
Kelsey Kinnaman, you know what you did.
Russell Kasberg knows too.
Javier Jimenez, you're perfect. You've done nothing wrong.
Never once.
Yeah, not like Brendan Arafin over here. I'm kidding, we're cool. We put that behind us.
Liam Neeson's Dell, pretty cool.
Chris Putricus.
Scottie Pippen never has done anything wrong. Kevin, I'm jumping in on you because Scottie Pippen has done no wrong. Ever.
Okay.
His
thank
family
you.
went through so much.
I love him. I love him.
I don't know. I don't know anything about Scottie Pippen.
You don't want to know it.
I don't think my heart can bear it.
No.
Scottie Pippen.
Scottie Pippen. Ryan Carroll.
Jeremy Bowser.
Streak.
Meet Virginia.
Megan McCormick Mason.
Dungeon Kappa.
Ninja Breadman.
Hood Lemon.
MC Hamster.
Zach Ware.
Tamid Nunair.
Got little old moi pretty freaked.
Alan G. Jessam,
Tobias Clark,
Michael Kupka,
Julian Lamendia,
Dr. Chocula,
Brendan Neal,
Jimmy So,
Andre Villanueva,
Peanutberg level 69,
Moon Juice,
Kelly the Barbarian,
Estamena, Lord of Paul's Pants,
Adam Morocco,
the Davy Boy,
Kenny
Dr. Diarrhea,
Robert Allen Cook III,
Kieran McNamara,
Diet Soda,
Quigley Jones,
Skelefella?
Mike Spaghetti Jones,
Jackie Ledoux, love that name,
Ooh, here's a good one too. Coleman Laguza,
Lamb.
Redemption,
Levi Kidder.
I just realized that Redemption is the name Reed inside of Redemption. I just realized that.
We have some very clever Patreons.
We do. Like David Gray,
Chris,
Ools.
Bryce Diori,
Matthew Bratato,
Oh, I am Cornholio. I need TP for my bunghole.
69 Polysure 311,
Lord Sepulcrave,
Carb Son.
Luke Humanzi Allen,
Wagmar Wigmer,
Dakota Kemp.
some of Chad's bird friends,
Squawk, Nicholas Maloney,
Midwest Indigo 13.
The Secret Provider,
Eric Horwitz,
Kyle Robinson.
Tiffany Lee.
Kiwi of Fleuve,
Bjorn Deer.
That is definitely Beyonder and not BJ Arendeer, like I thought it was.
It's Bjorn Deer.
Serial Killer X.
Thomas Jensis,
And welcome to some new patrons, quite a few of you.
Yeah.
Looks like Goosebuds isn't eating off paper plates anymore. We got Lucretia. Lucretia McEvil.
Elm Realm.
Glaceon the Lich,
Welcome, Mutant Astronaut.
I know this person, David Spivsy Spivey.
how about welcome Gakenti,
What about Michael?
Or Soggy Newspapers.
I love our new patron Alec Johnson,
I love Henry Torbert.
Hannah Jaeger Bush. Sounds like a great person having a party. You get some Jaeger, you get some Bush, you have a good time.
pour them down at the same time, nothing bad happens. Thank you, Hannah. Welcome. And welcome, Joe Milnick. Thank you all so very, very much, everybody.
You're all trapped in here with us.
And New Zealand.
And New Zealand. Just throwing fishes nonstop.
Whoa! The fish is flying everywhere.
Oh god, Guy Smiley just showed up. Get the fuck out. Let's go.
We gotta go.